my beautiful wise women. It's so good to see you back here at Wise Woman Rising. And today I'm excited to talk about another topic of the divine feminine. And we're going to be talking about finding the divine feminine in you, in yourself. And that's, I think, sometimes kind of a difficult concept because we're really used to seeing this idea of a God that's out there. And God is, the big man with the beard in the sky, and he's distant, he's far away, and we can become closer to him. But with the divine feminine, the beautiful part of it is seeing the divine that is in us, in our femininity, and however we define our femininity. So we're going to be talking about that today, kind of finding the divine in yourself, and then using ritual, particularly rituals connecting with your own body, and guided meditation to start fostering that connection with your divine self. So I will be doing at the end a guided meditation, and I'll also be putting that up separately as its own video as well. So, okay, so divine embodiment. Black feminist poet and playwright Ntozake Shange. She is like super amazing. I had heard of her and I looked her up, and like she created this whole entire dramatic form of her own that she called a choreo poem, which is basically a combination of poetry, dance, music, and song. And it's so cool. So I highly recommend looking her up. But she mentioned in something that she wrote, she says, "I found God in myself, and I loved her. I loved her fiercely." And I love that quote so much because that actually echoes something that happened to me just like a week or two ago. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more, because I think one of the most important and powerful things we can do as a woman is to love ourselves. Like, I feel like that's almost an act of rebellion in a way, to love ourselves and who we are and our feminine bodies in all our different shapes and all our different abilities. And to acknowledge that we have divinity and that our souls are of worth, that they are divine. That's something that I think tends to be harder for women just because we don't see the divine who looks like us. We're often taught a divine that is just, this man that's, not even someone close nearby that we can relate to. And if we can, we just never see that the divinity can be feminine too. And it's especially hard for women because we have so many things that tell us how wrong our bodies are. And this is something that I'll do a whole future video on this in more detail, but we tend to have very complicated relationships with our bodies. We are basically perpetually told that we are somehow not right. Whatever we are, it's not the right thing. We're too skinny, we're too large, we're too hairy, we're too emotional, we're too hormonal, we're too inappropriate, we're not enough, we're too much. Whatever we are, we're not right just as we are. And we just have generations of that. We have daily inundation of that. And, we're taught that our bodies are not our own, that they're not something that we can be proud of, that we can just live in and use like how we're meant to use them. And that we have to control them and use them appropriately, or for other people, or for men, or so many different things that are just, our bodies do not belong to us. And our bodies are either, too out there, too sexy, too flamboyant, or, we're too too prudish, not sexy enough. Not and so, again, I'm going to do a whole other video on this at some point because it's a really big, really sensitive topic for pretty much every woman. And along with that, we have, you know, just these generations of kind of inherited suppression of the holiness of our feminine selves. You know, for a long time, it was like women were the devil incarnate. And then it was like, well, women might not actually even have souls. Shocking. I thought that was just redheads, but no, I have a baby who's a redhead. I promise she has a soul. She's got a big soul. But it's going to take a lot of work to basically reclaim ourselves. And I think that is a huge part of what it means to find the divine feminine, is finding it in ourselves, claiming it in ourselves. And oh my gosh, it is so powerful as you begin to do that. It is one of the most incredible, life-changing things I've ever gone through. I think it's a lifetime thing. I'm still working on it. But like my self-esteem, my self-worth, my self-love, all those things have been rising steadily in me with the acknowledgement that I am uniquely and powerfully divine in myself. And it has basically opened up an entirely new life to me. I feel like it's a reclamation of our souls, of our wisdom, of our creativity, of our intuition, our compassion, our justice, our sexuality, our cycles, all the things that are true to us as individual women and as women as a group. And man, I wish I could explain just how amazing this is. And it's hard to find words for it. And so that's why we're going to talk about rituals and ways you can find to do it. So I'm going to talk about a experience I had about 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. I took a personal trip where I just went out for a couple of days and I'm like, I need time, I need space, I'm trying to figure some things out. And I planned some specific rituals that were very personal to me. One thing that's very personal to me, that's very personally meaningful, are labyrinths. And labyrinths, which I have so many videos planned. I'm going to do a whole video about labyrinths as a symbol of the divine feminine. And labyrinths are a symbol of the divine feminine womb. And they were often walked as a method of releasing something as you follow the path inward to the center. And then you are reborn as you walk back out of the labyrinth. So I found out that there's a beautiful labyrinth up at Zion National Park and just outside the park. And so I went up there, I went to this labyrinth, and I had this whole thing planned that I was going to do with this labyrinth of what I was going to release. And so I get up there, I took off my shoes, I did it barefoot, which is really extra super cool, being in contact with the earth. And so I walked barefooted to the center, and I had brought something with me to release, to kind of, you know, symbolically bury that I was saying goodbye to something that was holding me back. And so I walked to the center of the labyrinth, and as I'm holding this thing that I wanted to release, like it was a thing that was hurting me. It was a thing that had hurt me for a long time. And it was so hard to let it go. And I just had this huge catharsis of emotion. I'm really glad I was alone up on this hilltop, because I'm like sobbing in the center of this labyrinth, because I am feeling the grief and the pain and everything that this thing holding me back had caused me. And yet letting it go seemed almost impossible. I didn't even want to do what I came to do and bury it. And I ended up doing, if you've ever seen, known Marie Kondo at all, and she talks about giving thanks to things that you're letting go for what you've gotten from them. And so I did that. And I gave thanks to this thing, even though it had hurt me. I had learned so many things, and I had gotten good things from it. And I dug a hole and I buried it. And again, I just broke down, because it was like part of me was kind of dying in a way. And it was a part that needed to. But man, that emotional release was really strong. And then as I stood up and I started walking out of the labyrinth, I was feeling this peace and this happiness and this just like openness, like I can breathe. And I felt this love sweep over me for my goddess as I view her, for myself, because I had felt her with me. And there's these gorgeous cliffs of Zion National Park, these red cliffs all around me, and as I'm walking in these circles in the labyrinth, I'm like, I see her in all of these things and in these creations of hers. The same way that when I write something, I write a story, there's a piece of me forever in that. And I'm like, that is this is her creation. She is always here in it. And suddenly I was like, oh my gosh, same with me. This is nature and I am nature. My body, my physical self is part of all this that she created, which means she's in me. And if I love her and I love nature and these rocks around me and this beautiful place that is giving me this gift of wholeness, then that means I love me too. And I literally felt that, like, feeling love for yourself is incredible. It is so powerful. And so, I'm like, I started reciting this mantra. It just kind of like came to me as I was walking. I just repeated it over and over because I'm like, I want to like solidify this in my brain. And I started saying as I'm walking barefoot over the earth that my goddess is within me. She is all around me. She is beneath my feet. She is above my head. She is always with me because I am divine. And I said that over and over and over as I was walking out of the labyrinth, and I actually believed it. And oh my gosh, that was seriously one of the most powerful experiences of my life. And it has changed so much for me in these last few weeks. And it helped me realize that as I connect to my body, I am connecting to her. And as I am connecting to her, I am connecting to my holy, divine, perpetually worthy self. In loving her, I love myself. And in loving myself, I love her. And it was so cleansing. It's this very cleansing joy and acceptance of myself and my goodness and my goddessness. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to give this to every woman. I want every woman to know this feeling. And I can't. It's something that every woman has to go through for herself. Which actually is like, I'm like, yeah, I'm so excited. I can't wait for other women to feel this too. I can't wait to talk to other women who've already done this. And so I really wanted to give you some tools where you can do this as well. And I'm not gonna lie, it takes a lot of time. This is something that I've been working towards for like at least 3 years, and I know I am not done. Because our kind of alienation from and our enmity towards our own bodies is a really deep wound. Towards even our own souls, our own selves. And it keeps us from our own holiness and our own worthiness. And I want you to know, women, you are holy. You are divine. You are perfect as you are. The closest place you can connect to any kind of divine is in yourself. There is nothing more beautiful on this earth than you. And so everyone should go find a labyrinth nearby and go walk a labyrinth. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, yes, like, go find labyrinths. It's great. I'll actually even put a link in the description for a labyrinth finder. So you can see if there's labyrinths in your area that you can walk, if that appeals to you. But there are a lot of things that you can do just on your own at home with, like, you don't need anything. You can, I don't know if you can hear my baby screaming bloody murder. She woke up, so I might have to go and get her out of bed in a minute. But anyways, we're gonna go over some rituals that you can do at home that will help connect to yourself, your body, your inner divine feminine, your soul. We're gonna talk about rituals. Rituals can be kind of a loaded word, because it tends to conjure up images of like movies that show us human sacrifices and things like that. That is not what a ritual is. A ritual is basically nothing more than a series of actions that someone uses as a connection to something either divine or deeply personal to that person. It's something we see all the time, obviously in churches, with like communions and things like that. We see it in schools with, the Pledge of Allegiance, or even like line up in this certain way to come in the door. We see it in our own families, if we pray over a meal, or if we have particular bedtime routine type things that we do. And from a religious standpoint, especially when you look at the Abrahamic religions, religious rituals were created by men, and they are still, for the most part, enacted by men. And women kind of are just like standing outside, not really part of it. And so actually creating your own ritual as a woman is a really powerful way of giving yourself permission to define and connect to sacredness for yourself. It can start out feeling a little sacrilegious almost, like you're doing something wrong, or you might feel scared, and that's okay. Own that. Acknowledge your discomfort, the cognitive dissonance that comes with doing that, and say, yeah, it's okay. I'm not doing anything wrong by choosing to connect to the divine in a way that is personally meaningful to me. You are taking personal responsibility for your spiritual life. So, how do you create a ritual? It can actually look pretty much any way you want and be as simple or as complex as you want, as long as it's something that is meaningful to you. The most important thing with a ritual is intention. You need to be doing it for a specific purpose and be mindful of that purpose while you are doing it. So I'm going to give you some ideas. I would love if people would share in the comments some rituals that they have done that are powerful for them. And we can all share these things, do it in our own way. And okay, so simplest ritual of all is find a place where you can sit in stillness and quiet for even just a minute and take several deep breaths. And as you do this, pay close attention to the actual physical feelings of breathing. I mean, we don't really pay attention to breathing. We just do it. Our bodies take care of that for us. Aren't our bodies so amazing? They do this for us. They keep us alive without us even trying. But pay attention to that. How does it feel as the air comes in, as the air goes out, as your chest expands, as your belly expands? Put your hand on your chest, one hand on your belly, and feel that rise and fall. And just pay attention. You don't have to think about it or analyze it. Feel it. Feel that connectedness with your body as you breathe. So, super easy. Not sacrilegious. Still a ritual. Another thing you can do is take a bath. Yay, I love baths, actually. When you take it with intention, you can turn it into a ritual. You are purposefully cleansing and soothing your body, reminding yourself that as a part of something divine, you are worthy of care and love. You can include things in your bath like essential oils or herbs or candles, anything that evokes certain feelings or associations for you. You can add music, just anything where you can focus on, I am caring for my body right now. My body is worth caring for. Another one, and this is one I really personally love, is doing rituals with phases of the moon. The moon is something that is a very powerful divine feminine symbol. And I'm going to do a whole video on the moon and moon rituals. Yay, another video. But just pay attention for 1 month. Just pay attention to the cycles of the moon. Get yourself an app. There's like a million apps you can get on your phone that will help you track what cycle the moon is in. And so every day you'll be like, oh, it's, the third quarter moon. Cool. Look up in the sky. See if you can see that. Oh, it's a new moon. I can't see the moon in the sky because that's what a new moon means. So pay attention to those cycles. See if you can spot the moon. Notice how quickly it changes or how slowly it changes, what that pace feels like to you. And alongside that, pay attention to the cycles in your body. This is why the moon is a divine feminine symbol, because it lines up with our feminine cycles. Now, part of that is menstruation. So if you do have a regular menstrual cycle, or even if you don't, you can pay attention to your cycle, to how that feels. But you can also pay attention to other bodily cycles. Your energy levels cycle up and down, and that is something that is personally unique. Your sleep patterns, how does that work? Your eating habits, all of these things, anything about your physical body that stands out to you, watch, just pay attention for 1 month to how it flows, as you also watch how the moon does that up and down, flowing from one thing to the next. And that's actually like really powerful to feel very connected to nature and the world around you, which in turn connects you more with the divine feminine. Yay! It's a double whammy. Okay, so another thing you can do, creating. Obviously, creation is not unique to women, but creation is something that is very associated with femininity. So what do you like to create? Do you like painting, dancing, writing? Do you like cooking? Do you like exercise, creating a healthy body? Like, anything at all. Sports, creating a team environment for people to come and feel welcome and play sports. Like, anything at all. You can look at it in terms of creation. You can look at your work this way, even if you don't like your work, I'm going to go into work today and create a good day for customers, a good day for me. Anything that you can pay attention to as an act of creation, you can turn that into a ritual. I also, some other really simple ones, I really love connecting my body to the earth, because as I said, that's kind of a double whammy of like divine feminine power. It's like it's in me and it's in the earth and my goddess is here and we're just all divine together. So lie down in the grass. Take a barefoot walk across your lawn. Hug a tree. Like, legit, you guys, I have a thing for trees. Go hug a tree. It's the most beautiful thing. They love you. They love hugs. They really do. And you will love it. Hug a tree. And pay attention to what you feel. This is really important. We get really trapped in thinking. Just be. Be in the grass. Be hugging a tree. What does that feel like? What does the bark feel like? What does the grass feel like? What are the temperatures? What do you smell that you've never noticed before? What do you hear from your body, from nature around you? And then just breathe that in. Just exist with it for as long as you can. And it doesn't matter how long that is. Just give yourself that moment to connect. And that can be a really powerful ritual. I also highly recommend rituals that can connect you to your physical body in a really positive way, through movement. Again, because we're kind of conditioned to see our bodies as like this enemy we have to fight against. Do things that make you feel like you are using your body for its intended purposes. Things like yoga and Tai Chi are really fantastic for that. That's kind of why they're there. And any form of mindful exercise, any form of exercise you like, just pay attention to how you feel as you do it. My number one thing that I recommend if you really want to try and connect with your body is like free dancing. Just any kind of, you don't have to be a dancer. I am a terrible dancer. I love to dance just because I love feeling my body move. Turn on your favorite song, kick all of your kids out of the room, you know, tell your roommate like, sayonara, don't look in here, you know, lock the door if you don't feel comfortable, you know, with anyone seeing you, and just move however you feel like you want to move. That can look like, you know, going wild and crazy. That can look like gently swaying. That can look like sitting down and tapping your toes. Just anything that you feel that you want to do to that music, do it. And I'm even going to leave a link again in the description of one of my favorite songs called Queendom by Aurora. And it's one that I love dancing to because the lyrics and the music really connect to that divine feminine feeling. And it's really good for being able to dance like slowly as well as like kicking it up a notch. You can do whichever one you feel. And let your body be in charge of that. Don't think about it. Don't focus on, oh, I should do this type of movement or something. Just feel your body. Just let your body flow and do what it wants to do. That's all that matters, because you're connecting to your body and how it moves itself. Okay, so now I'm going to end this video with a guided visualization meditation. This is something you can also use as a ritual. You can do it right now. You can come back to it later. Like I said, I'm going to create a separate video that's just the meditation if you want to come back and just not try and find where the meditation starts again. And it's going to be a labyrinth walk. Shocking! I love labyrinths. I'm going to give you your own guided labyrinth walk that you can take in your mind anytime to journey through the path of the goddess, release things that you want to let go of, and start finding love for your divine feminine self. So, again, if you have any rituals that you want to share, even if you never realized they were rituals until this moment, even if it's something as simple as, you know, a morning coffee or a cup of chamomile tea before bed, or, you know, you stop at Swig to give yourself a drink because, like, yeah, you really like that, you know, you want your sugar, man. Anything that feels like a ritual to you that helps you appreciate and love yourself, share that in the comments. And now we will get to the meditation. Settle yourself into a comfortable position, sitting or lying down somewhere you won't be disturbed. Move your body until you feel comfortable, rolling your shoulders, stretching your arms and legs, arching your back, whatever feels good to you. Now take a deep breath in and find stillness as you exhale. Take a few more deep breaths at your own pace. Notice how the air feels in your nose and throat as it comes into your body. Pay attention to how your belly and chest expand and release so naturally with each breath. What does it feel like? Notice the physical feeling, not what you think about the physical feeling. Simply experience breathing, something your body does on its own every moment, feeding you with the inhales and feeding plants and trees with your exhales. As you breathe in and out, feel the oxygen flowing through each part of your body, bringing life and relaxation to your arms and hands, then through your belly and chest, and up your neck to relax your jaw and face, then down through your hips to bring that life and rest to your legs, feet, and toes. Notice whatever sensations your body experiences with this relaxing oxygenation.
and find a moment of gratitude for your body that functions so well in this moment to bring you life. Now imagine yourself in a beautiful pine forest. The trees spread out around you, swaying softly in a breeze. You smell the calming scent of pine and of deep, nourishing soil. A few birds call to each other in the distance. Ahead of you is a rocky, moss-covered cliff, and you feel pulled toward it. You walk over the soft pine needles until you arrive at the base of the stone rising from the earth, and you walk along it, trailing your hand over its surface. Beneath your fingers, you feel the rough stone give way to a cushion of moss. Soon you find yourself at the mouth of a cave. It is wide and welcoming, and you feel no fear as you peer into it. Intuitively, you know this is a safe place, a place of growth and nourishment provided by the goddess of these woods, a place for her daughters to descend into peace and warmth, where they can release the things that hamper them in flourishing as divine in their own right, and gain her wisdom to flower inside them. In your hands you find an object has appeared. Take a moment to appreciate its shape and feel. You recognize it is a representation of something painful in your life, in yourself. It's something that hurts or holds you back, something you want to let go of. Knowing this is why you came to this place, you are calm and brave as you step over the threshold into the cave, carrying your object. As the stone tunnel curves downward and away from the light behind you, another light begins to glow all around you. Embedded in the stone walls and ceiling are thousands of tiny crystals which glow softly in your favorite color. They light your way as you descend deeper. Ahead of you, light begins to grow brighter, and the cave tunnel opens up into a vast cavern. Above, an opening in the rock lets a shaft of sunlight shine through, and more crystals glitter like stars in the ceiling. The light feeds a glorious wild garden below, filled with trees and grasses and flowers, welcoming you into a private paradise. A stream winds through it all, and the path you're on follows alongside it, circling around and back on itself until it comes at the center to the most magnificent tree of all, a strong, firm trunk and branches full of pink blossoms. The goddess of the woods has created this warm, tranquil place, and you see her signature in every blossom and stone around you. Still carrying the burden you brought with you, you follow the path into the openness of the cavern, heading for that lovely tree. The stream trickles softly next to you as you walk, slowly spiraling the path of the labyrinth through the natural beauty of the cavern. Your object grows heavy in your hands, and your heart does too, as feelings about this thing you've come to release begin to well up inside you. As you circle around and back through the labyrinth, you seem to be almost retracing your own path, but each time a bit closer to the center. At the same time, your emotions ebb and flow as you revisit them and allow them to be felt. Finally, you reach the tree at the center, where the stream collects into a small pond. A grassy bank beneath the tree begs you to rest on it, and you sit, holding your heavy object in your hands, feeling a myriad of emotions inside you. Amidst the trickling sounds of the little brook, you hear what seem to be words. My love, let it go. You look at the object in your hands, the thing that has caused you to feel less, or unhappy, or unholy, or unworthy. It is keeping you from living. Bury it and let it go. You're surprised at how difficult it seems to want to release your object, but you realize you do want to let it go. Both these feelings and beliefs about yourself and the object. They are untruths and unkindnesses, picked up as you walked through a world of untruth and unkindness, and you don't want to carry them back with you to add to. You set the object down and begin to dig in the grassy earth beneath the beautiful pink-blossomed mother tree. You hesitate. You don't want to pollute this place with this hurtful object either. The whisper returns. My earth can transform pain, my child. Give it to me. You bury the object in the hole you dug, patting the earth over top of it. Feelings wash over you, some unexpected. Give yourself time to feel them as you lay in the soft grass beneath the mother tree. As you feel them also release and begin to fade. Begin to notice again the beauty and divinity of this magical world around you. Take in the sounds, smells, and sights. You sense in your deepest soul the power and joy and strength and holiness of the mother in her children, her creations. A deep love for this place sweeps through you, and you recognize it is also love for the divine woman herself, the goddess. You continue to lie in the grass, and a sudden realization comes to you. She called you her child. You, just like this divine place you love, are her creation. Just as you feel her in all of nature around you, you begin for the first time to feel her in you. You, your body, your physical self, is a part of the nature around you. You are a part of the goddess. In loving her, you love yourself, and in loving yourself, you love her. Joy and power rise in you as you recognize your own divinity, and your love for your divine self begins to blossom, just like the pink flower tree above you. You sit up and find in the spot where you buried your object, your emotions, your pain, a small tree has grown, and it bears a perfectly ripe fruit. You recognize this is the change the goddess said she could bring. Your object and experiences and thoughts and feelings you released were seeds. Pain turned into something lovely you have learned from. You feel an urge to pick the fruit, and so you do. It is your own, and you are meant to partake of it. Raising the fruit to your lips, you take a bite. You feel the juicy sweetness of it flowing down your throat, filling your belly, and nourishing your womanly soul and body. You eat as much of the fruit as you want, and until you are brimming over with love and recognition of your feminine divinity and worth. At the center of the fruit, you find seeds, and you take them with you to grow more fruit for your future. You thank the goddess for her gifts and begin your journey back out of the labyrinth of the goddess's womb, and new thoughts begin to arise in your mind. You repeat them as you wind back and forth through the cavern's flowers and trees. My goddess is within me. She is all around me. She is beneath my feet. She is above my head. She is always with me, because I am divine. You carry this wisdom with you up the tunnel of glowing crystals, out of the cave, and back into the light of the pine forest. You look down at the seeds in your hand, new pieces of yourself to create and grow and share. You know you can return to this forest and this cave as many times as you need, whenever you are ready to release something old and receive the new. Ready now to say goodbye to this place. Take several deep cleansing breaths, noticing again the feel of each breath in your nose, your throat, your chest, your belly. Feel the lifeblood of your body tingling in your hands and feet. When you feel ready, you may open your eyes.